Akira is a skilled gamer who also manages to score top marks. Like a less weeb Kama from the world God only knows. One day, he is attacked by a killer straight out of Dead by Daylight. He lures him into an abandoned building and impales him with a metal pole. Suddenly, a girl appears and kills him, and he awakens in an auditorium with several others. The girl, Mion, explains that they have been chosen and given special abilities. When a man tries to interrupt her, Mion turns her hand into a cannon and kills him. She continues that once their shackles unlock, they will be able to use their abilities, and they won't be penalized for killing anyone. She asks Tatara, a class rep, or Kirasaki, a man straight out of Duel City, if they have any questions. Yuri asks why they were chosen, and Mion replies that it was completely random. Yang tells Mion it is time, and they are ushered into separate rooms where they can test their abilities before participating in the first test, one-on-one battles. Akira enters his room and is shocked by his ability. Akira is brought into a room to face Kirasaki. The match ends when one admits defeat or is killed, so Kirasaki advises him to surrender. Akira says Ligma balls. When the match begins, Kirasaki transforms his stick into a katana, forcing Akira to Jackie Chan his way out. He ducks into a science prep room, where he makes use of several chemical tricks to confound him. Akira bluffs that his ability is the same as Mion's, and a cannon manifests in Akira's arm, badly injuring Kirasaki. Bleeding out, Kirasaki surrenders. Yang wonders why Akira didn't do that from the start, and Mion replies that he couldn't. In a flashback, Akira's ability is revealed to be Sophist. His ability is whatever his opponent thinks it is. Mion is thoroughly impressed. For now, Akira decides to play along and make Mion regret ever giving him this ability. A few hours prior, Yuri tries to figure out a way home. Yuri is a regular high school girl with two best friends. She has two problems, a schoolmate turned stalker and her mother, who often brings home random men. But above all, Yuri hates the notion of random chance. One afternoon, she dies while trying to talk her stalker down from jumping off a roof. Frustrated, Yuri tries banging on the door to no avail. She tears open the envelope and learns that her power grants her massively increased physical strength. In another flashback, Yuri has managed to save up nearly 1,000,000 yen to leave her mother forever. When she learns that her mother's boyfriend's daughter, Riria, has had nothing to eat since breakfast, she cooks him some omnurus. Later, while in the shower, she discovers that Riria has cigarette burns on her back. Yuri is led to meet her opponent, Kazuto, a seedy old pervert who has the power to smell what the other is feeling. When the battle starts, he abuses Yuri's feelings of anxiety and disgust to gain the upper hand. In a flashback, after a young prostitute attempted to blackmail him, Kazuto killed her. This turned him into a serial strangler, and he is excited to do it again to Yuri. However, at the mention of random chance, Yuri's rage grows, unlocking the full potential of her powers. She overpowers the much larger Kazuto, beating him up and claiming victory. She has one reason to go home, to save Riria. Later, Kazuto is brought into another room, where he meets Yuri, Kirasaki, and Shin. Mion announces that the next program is a 5v5 team battle. Satoru speaks and reveals his ability, change a button into a rope. Yuri says his ability is useless. Shin, a former pro wrestler, describes his ability as turning invincible for 2 seconds, and afterwards, Kirasaki and Yuri share theirs. When it is Akira's turn, he claims that his ability is the same as Mion's. If he can help it, he'd rather not reveal his ability's true name. Later, they are ushered into an arena, and Akira realizes he has been played. The round isn't a team battle but one at a time judo-style matches. Satoru faces Rin, who advises him to surrender. If he does, then she'll give him some service. Satoru thinks that isn't a bad deal, and Yuri yells at him to take this seriously. Satoru proposes that they flip a coin to decide who will forfeit, and Rin agrees. However, as soon as Satoru looks up, Rin kills him. Poor guy didn't even make it through half the episode. Satoru's death causes their team to quarrel, but Akira manages to calm them down. When it is Shin's turn, his opponent, Ringo, forfeits immediately. Ringo explains that her ability, Copy, didn't work. Rin nearly chokes her to death, but Zokamuen manages to calm her down. In reality, Ringo's ability is to copy one's power at 1/10 the value, and there's no way she beats a grown man in a fight. Kirasaki fights Zokamuen, who has the ability to turn marbles into wrecking balls. However, when Kirasaki starts dodging and cutting through them, his true ability is revealed, to create a sword that can cut through anything. Zokamuen realizes she cannot win, but if she surrenders, there's no telling what Rin will do to her. Zokamuen decides she can't give up, and she tosses dozens of marbles that Kirasaki seamlessly cuts through. Her final attack is foiled by Kirasaki's hidden blade, and he asks her again to surrender. However, he is struck by a stray marble, which hits both of his marbles. Akira climbs on stage to face Kuji, and it is time for him to test his ability. When his cannon fails to materialize, he turns his attention to Kurosaki, which causes the cannon to appear. However, for some reason, Akira's attacks fail to hit Kuji. Kuji is terrified. He has never excelled at anything in his life. Rin claims that the girls will do anything he wants if he wins, which encourages him to fight. However, Akira has already deduced his ability to nullify other abilities as long as his hand is touching the ground. Kuji surrenders. This concludes Akira's tests. The other person designated in his ability must be someone who also acknowledges him, which explains why it only manifested when he called out Kurosaki, and why it didn't when he tried targeting Kuji's teammates. Yuri is up next, but she is horrified to see Aoji, the stalker who killed her. He boasts that his ability allows him to turn his body into iron, but despite that, Yuri sends him flying with a single punch. For the penalty, the losers are forced to wear bunny outfits to serve the winners a Chinese-themed meal. Akira notices that Yuri's wrist is injured, so he stabilizes it with his handkerchief. Afterwards, they are ushered into another room for round 3, but Mion says that the losers still have the real penalty awaiting them. Akira's team goes their separate ways for the 3rd round, and Shin hopes to see them all again. Akira asks Yuri to bring back his handkerchief, which he has had since he was a child, safely back to him later. After planting this small seed of affection, Akira enters a tunnel alone. Akira receives an interface device and is told he has 100 points and has to earn 1,000 to enter the next round. However, it is evident that the 3rd round has been ongoing for some time. He encounters Katsuya, who means to recruit him for his green team. 4 ruffians, self-titled the Dragon 4 of the red team, chase Yuri, leading them to a premature reunion. Despite being the Dragon 4, their logos don't match. Idiots. Katsuya manifests his bow ability to hold them off, but to their surprise, Matsushita also sports the cannon ability. After Yuri makes them conscious of it, Akira also manifests his cannon, and in the ensuing explosion, they escape. Katsuya brings them to the green team's camp. He greets a little girl named Herka and a baby named Taro, and to Akira's surprise, the camp is filled with civilians. They meet Shirasagi, the green team's leader. He and Katsuya are excited to learn that Akira and Yuri's abilities are combat types, which will turn the tide against the red team. Shirasagi explains that completing quests earns you points, which can be used to buy supplies. However, the red team is led by 2 leaders who mean to remain in this round forever by collecting players and using them as slaves without ever advancing. At the red camp, Mitsuru reports to Hajime, the red team's boss, about his failure. Hajime tells him to get a beer from Rin, but he uses it to bash Mitsuru's face in. Kuro, the second boss, tell them to get out. However, Kuro is wary that Akira's ability may be a rare one like Hajime's. Shirasagi says there is also a blue team, which remains neutral in the conflict. He asks Yuri and Akira to join the green team, but Akira chooses to hold Shirasagi hostage. Shirasagi tells him to try it, and after a tense confrontation, he fires. Akira's cannon is blocked by Shirasagi, convincing the former of his capability. When Momoko tells them that an influx of players complicates their housing situation, Akira offers to share a room with Yuri. Yuri is overly conscious about sharing a room with Akira, made worse after she discovers a condom. Instead, Akira convinces her that his ability is telepathy, enabling them to speak without being monitored. After learning of her motivations, he trusts her enough to tell her his true ability, Sophist. Later, Mion tells them about a special event occurring the next day. Shirasagi organizes his team into teams. The next day, they head out, and Akira asks Yuri to remember their agreement. When they arrive at the ruins, Mion summons hordes of ghouls to attack, each worth 30 points. As an added restriction, players are not allowed to harm each other. Shirasagi's formations mow down the ghouls. Notable team leaders come to the fore: Eiji, who can turn to iron, Purge, who has mastery over voodoo dolls, and Toru, a teleporter. Akira has Yuri keep thinking his ability is telepathy, while he takes advantage of the others' wariness of him to continue manifesting his cannon. This way, he can swap between both powers at will. Hajime and the red team arrive, and Kuro uses his ability, forcibly collect debts, to force several civilians to charge at the ghouls. Among them is Ringo. Shirasagi is forced to order their rescue. But after Akira and Yuri save Ringo, Mion sends in a giant zombie named Meow. It blows through their ranks, and it is unfazed by Akira's cannon. Shirasagi confronts it himself, using his ability, Peaceful Negotiation, to take in Meow's attacks and return them to him tenfold. The green team's celebration is short-lived, as Miao consumes the surrounding ghouls to regenerate. Mion says the boss battle is just beginning. Ignoring Shirasagi's orders, Akira and Yuyuri leap into battle Miao. Akira instructs Yuyuri to follow his lead, and they lure Miao into a blind spot. When it looks like Akira has been crushed by Miao, he survives and blows its head off. When it regenerates, Hajime leaps down and kills it again, amused by Akira's sheer luck. To settle the long-standing dispute between the red and green teams, Mion announces a hunt the leader battle in 7 days. Whoever can snatch away the other's interface is the winner. However, Kuro convinces Mion to add another condition. The losing team will be killed. The green team stumbles back home. Shirasagi confronts Akira, knowing that his real ability isn't the cannon, but that is all Akira is willing to admit. After being beaten by Akira in an online game, Ringo becomes a big fan. Haruka returns after Shin rescues her from a red soldier. Mion formally announces the hunting game in 7 days, and Shirasagi rallies his team. Ringo bashfully approaches Akira and reveals she knows his ability. He brings her inside his room, and Ringo reveals her ability. She asks to be made Akira's partner, believing herself to be the best match for him. The next day, Akira asks Yuri to accompany him to the blue team's base so he can negotiate with them. Meanwhile, formerly absent members of the red team return. Renka, an unhinged loose cannon, and Kamui, an old man who can seemingly disintegrate objects. Yuuki returns with a red team member who escaped with the help of one of their spies. He confirms Kuro's fears. Akira's ability is not the cannon. Akira has Yuri imagine him as someone else, which transforms him into Ringo. Realizing that Yuri knows about them, Akira tells her of Ringo's suggestion that they partner up. However, he clarifies that he doesn't trust Ringo completely. They meet up with Amoto, the laid-back leader of the blue team, and Akira offers them 500 points in exchange for them acting as mercenaries. When Amoto wants Yuri instead, Akira calls off the deal, sensing his resolve. Amoto agrees to tell his team about Akira's proposal. Kurosaki, who they didn't notice until now, declares he will join the red team to fight Akira. Akira tells him to go ahead. A few days later, Akira meets with Shirasagi, who shows him that several civilians want to join as medics. The night before the battle, the red team holds a huge barbecue. Akira meets with Ringo, Shin tells Haruka of his resolve to fight, and Asuka, the mother of Taro, also musters some courage. The next day, Mion announces the rules. Each interface is worth 1 Mion point, and if their interfaces stray too far from their cuffs, it will activate, sealing their powers. Additionally, there are 5 interface towers scattered throughout the area, and placing their interface on one grants them 10 MP. They can redeem these points to have Mion perform several actions, such as make an announcement, seal off an ability, and, most importantly, find out her 3 sizes. Red team quickly capture several interface towers. However, Asuka encounters Hajime, who, despite being the king, is fighting on the front lines. Asuka tries to buy time for reinforcements to arrive, but Hajime brutally beats her. Hajime's generals mow down the ill-equipped red team members, while Rin meets with Akira. Akira meets with Rin for their deal. Shin encounters Yuuki, who shrinks a piece of string to slice off Shin's hand. Elsewhere, Hajime grows impatient and prepares to kill Asuka, but Yuri rescues her. The two have similar abilities, but Yuri follows Akira's advice and uses hit-and-run tactics. The moment she is pulled in, she delivers a powerful blow that staggers Hajime. However, Kuro's plan is already in place. Ringo and Shirasagi capture one of Red Team's spies. When they aren't looking, the spy is killed, revealing there is a second spy, Momoko. A few minutes earlier, Akira separated from Yuri after she insisted on helping Asuka. However, he still has a backup plan. He runs into Kurosaki, who attacks him on sight. Rindu also appears, causing Kurosaki to call for a truce. Earlier, Akira had Rin contact Rindu to tell him his location, while he called Kurosaki to set up a duel. That's what you call a pro gamer move. When Rindu's slashes seemingly hit them from afar, they are forced to retreat. Akira formulates another plan, and he sends Kurosaki to ambush Rindu. Akira blasts Rindu with his cannon, but when he parries it, Kurosaki uses the splinters to form more blades, which he uses to kill Rindu. Urge uses the last of her strength to try and kill Renka, but she survives. Rin confronts her, and a second fight ensues. When her blades fail to kill Renka, Rin traps her against a tree with leather restraints. Rin then dashes towards the tree line and kills the true ability user inside a box. Renka was just a puppet controlled by him. Rin formed a deal with Akira. If she eliminated one of the red generals, he would vouch that she was a green team spy all along. This way, no matter who wins, Rin survives. She kills the last loose end, revealing her own ability as Iron Maiden, allowing her to form torture devices using bodily fluids. Yuuki nearly kills Shin with a neck guillotine, but Haruka rescues him. In a flashback, Shin's brother, also a pro wrestler, donated his heart to save his life. His brother's spirit appears before him, encouraging him to protect what is in front of him. Shin activates his power Diamond Hand, and within 2 seconds, he chokeslams Yuuki. Ketsuya desperately tries to hold off Kamui. Akira appears and encourages him to rescue Asuka. Akira tosses a rock at Kamui, and upon seeing it disintegrate, he deduces he has chemical reaction powers. However, Kamui also reveals he knows Akira's ability isn't the canon. Akira brings out Rindu's sword, implying that Akira's ability is to steal abilities. Kamui is unable to block the slash and is mortally wounded. Akira steals his interface and remarks that he planned to have his ability come under scrutiny, which allows him to exploit all sorts of mind games. Elsewhere, Ringo realizes too late that Momoko is the traitor. She discovers her in a standoff with Shirasagi. Momoko explains that Kuro and Hajime are her foster children whom she failed to save before. She threatens to kill Taro if Shirasagi doesn't surrender, forcing him to comply. Afterwards, she kills him. She reports this to Kuro, but Mion says the true king hasn't been defeated. It wasn't Shirasagi. Ringo works up the courage and confronts Momoko. She finally tries out her ability, and contrary to her expectations, she receives a powerful rapid-fire chain gun. Ringo convinces her to lay down Taro in a safe spot while they battle, but Ringo's haphazard shots give Momoko an opening, and she is brutally beaten. Still, Ringo refuses to give up. She shoots down a nearby cliff, and Momoko believes Taro has been killed. However, Taro is safe and sound. Ringo shoots the cliff again, causing a landslide that knocks Momoko out. Elsewhere, Kirasaki and Shin arrive to provide Yuri backup against Hajime, while Akira, the true king, confronts Kuro. But the grand strategist isn't defenseless, as dozens of his hostages emerge from the forest. Akira reels against Kuro's hordes of ability users. Ringo earlier explained that Kuro triggers it by having Hajime threaten to kill you first, and he swoops in to save them, thus creating a debt. Akira tries talking to buy some time, but this only plays into Kuro's hands. Since he let Akira buy time, a debt is created. Kuro restrains Akira's leg, which forces him to teleport. However, he has slaves ready to intercept him, allowing Kuro to stab Akira. But in this long game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Akira looks up and smiles. His earlier rant makes Kuro conscious of Shirasagi's ability, allowing Akira to use it against him. Kuro is knocked into a tree, and his ability is broken. Akira shows the meat and book armor underneath his shirt, and explains that it was he who infiltrated their base a few days ago to investigate their base and learn their moves. Kuro admits defeat and surrenders his interface. However, he warns Akira that Hajime cannot be beaten. Yuri, Shin, and Kirasaki push Hajime into a corner, but he goes berserk and awakens unheard of strength. He twists Kirasaki's arm with a punch, breaks Yuri's arm, and breaks through Hajime's invincibility, all while asking one question: what is he? In a flashback, Hajime first met Kuro at a foster home, who showed him a book titled A Kingdom for Everyone. The two promised to make a kingdom of their own one day. However, the foster home's owner is a cruel man, often physically and verbally abusing the children in his care. When he grabbed Kuro's book and stomped it on the ground, Hajime went berserk and killed him with an ashtray. Yuri says that he reminds her of another kid who was abused, but that's why she'll end this now, so she can go back to Riria. The two fight, letting their fists do the talking. Hajime's left arm breaks from the impact, and he is astounded by Yuri's resolve. Regardless, he continues beating down on her, but still, she remains standing. The body is broken, but the spirit is willing. Hajime finally feels pain as his own bones crumble, and Yuri performs her final attack. However, it falls with a whimper, and she realizes her ability is gone. Hajime punches her into a wall, badly injuring her. It turns out that Kuro only pretended to release his slaves. His real interface was with him all along, and he used it to seal Yuri's powers. As he breathes his last, he leaves it all up to Hajime. Hajime is about to kill Yuri, but Akira makes an announcement with a Mion point. He bargains with Hajime to fight one-on-one in exchange for his friend's safety, and he threatens to kill Kuro otherwise. However, Hajime already knows Kuro has already died, but he accepts Akira's proposal anyway. Haruka and the others are worried, but Shirasagi, revealed to have survived, reassures her that Akira will be fine. Akira and Hajime meet at the ruins, and Akira uses his final ability, Yuyuri's Strength, dialed up to 10 times. Hajime is knocked out in one punch, and he asks Akira to tell Yuyuri to save those kids. The green team is declared the winner, and they all celebrate Akira's victory. However, their celebration is short-lived. Mion arrives with men in black to carry away the wounded, while she asks him to fulfill one last role as the king. While washing his face, Akira encounters Amoto, who is revealed to have the same ability as Akira's. After Amoto fires his cannon, he reveals that he also plans to eventually kill Mion, and for that, he needs Akira on his side. Akira lapses into unconsciousness and awakens back in bed. After going through his normal routine, he reunites with Yuyuri on the Tokyo Skytree. All the other characters look at their wrists and see that there are marks. The game isn't over yet, their 5 seconds of battle begin in Tokyo. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss a future video. And until next time guys, take care.